What year? We're in 2025, mid 25. We started renegotiating our local TV deals approximately 10 seconds after we signed them. It took that long where we started to talk about players do this too with their contracts. They sign an 8-year deal and they're like, well, wait a minute. Maybe are we sure we got the most amount of money? We're trying to position ourselves. Think about what baseball does with its carriers, with its networks. They're always trying to add value. You're always trying to overperform so that the other side is making money so that you can get more money on a renewal. So you're trying to get better products. You're trying to get more inventory. There's a reason why baseball played at Bristol and the Field of Dreams in Williamsport. There's a reason why all the leagues are trying to figure out all-star weekends. All the leagues, NFL, are trying to get more games in different windows, different days. What you're trying to do is set yourself up for that renegotiation. For when you get to, basically, here's what it is, Coca. You're trying to make sure that your media deal is always growing, and the media company who's the incumbent is always trying to make sure they're telling you, man, we overpaid you already. So starting from day one, when you try to convince the other side, man, you got me, and then the other side is saying, what are you talking about? We're not going to make our money back. When you look at the deals in baseball, basketball, even football, how as great as the sports are, as much as you need live content, there are great arguments to be made. And Warner Brothers made the argument with the NBA. They did not make money on the NBA deal and would not make money at the prices the NBA wanted, but there's always next. There's always someone who views a media deal differently than the incumbent. There's always someone who says, can you imagine if I strengthen myself and weaken my opponent all at the same time? Because when you come up with new programming, you're strengthening yourself. When you steal somebody, this is the Aaron Judge thing, Coca. Do you think that the Yankees got incrementally better with Aaron Judge free agent signing, or the Mets got incrementally better with the Juan Soto free agent signing? Which do you think happened?
Oh, well, right now it doesn't look like either of them have gotten any better. But I understand the conversation. I understand the point that you're trying to make there.
It is no question that if you can listen, John Skipper has talked about the fact that he wants these deals to go out as long as possible because that is how he makes money.
That's part of this conversation is that if you look at the SEC is one of the later ones and they're done in 2034, but the Big 12, I believe, is 2031. I believe the Big 10 is 2030, around that range, but the ACC is 2036. They're all the way at the end of the line when it comes to this media rights deal, and that's the one that Skipper had them sign in, I believe, 2013. So by the time that deal is up, you could already see all these other schools like the Miamis, the Florida States, the Clemsons try and leave and get to these other conferences before their deals are up. Because if the deal is up then and they've already signed these new deals, if you're the Big 12 or if you're the Big 10, why would you want another mouth to feed in another major school? And then you're just stuck with the ACC. And if we're at that point, and I know it's 11 years out, but at that point, these schools, the competition could just be drowning.
I'm interested in this topic, Coca, because what if when you do a deal with the NFL and there's 32 teams and it's a long-term deal, multi-billion dollars per year. What did we decide? It was like $10 billion per year they're getting. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden you wake up and the Los Angeles Chargers are no longer in the NFL. All right. You're down to 31 teams. Then before you know it, the Los Angeles Rams, they decide they're getting out of the business of the NFL. And you wake up and all of a sudden there's 7 teams in the NFL. Do you think that all of these broadcasters would keep paying $10 billion per year of their existing deal? No, it would be a breach. There is what you have to deliver when you sign a media deal. The ACC can't keep getting paid. If their conference disappears, all these conferences that are getting gobbled up, it's a real problem. And there's no specific performance, meaning you can't just say to ACC, hey, you got to show these games. You have to deliver games, because what the ACC could say is, all right, we've got a bunch of new teams in the conference and it's Texas Tech, it is Davidson, and it is Tufts University. And then John Skipper would say, but that's not what we bargained for. We bargained for certain demographics. We bargained for certain numbers that would come with these teams. And therefore, you're not delivering, you're in breach. But then there's the other side, is what happens if a conference over delivers and they become bigger, and a conference like a Power Four conference, take the Big Ten, which is now, I think, 39 teams, or take the Big 12, which I think has 69 teams, whatever the case may be. Can you imagine you go to your broadcaster and say, pay me my money? We're delivering a quality and a number of inventory games that you don't have the contractual right to, or in the contract, there is a clause that gives an escalator if we perform, much like there'd be a clause that would be a de-escalator if we lose all our teams. So these contracts cover these eventualities. The problem with doing contracts that are long-term, it's like with players. When you sign a 10-year contract to a baseball player, you know he's going to suck the last 4 years. But when he sucks the last 8 years, you're saying, wow, I didn't expect that. My bad. Let me be smarter next time. Or with a pitcher, I didn't expect that he wouldn't get hurt, but geez, I didn't think he'd get hurt this early. In hour one, we talked about Slater, the offensive lineman for the for the Chargers, the left tackle. They signed him. They didn't expect him to get hurt. It's the cost of doing business. What do I think you're going to see in 10 years, Coca? I think you're going to see not expansion. You're going to see consolidation. There's going to be more bidders, but there's going to be fewer packages, because these conferences are going to get together and they're going to realize, wait a minute, our sum is going to be greater than our parts. Therefore, we would be well served not to negotiate individual media deals, because that accrues to the benefit of the service of the ESPNs of the world. Let's put our teams together and let's go to this market and try to corner it and try to get streamers negotiating against each other. And then, Coca, the next deals are going to be just like the NFL. They won't be exclusive to one network. They're going to be, we're going to take a few games for this streamer, a package for that streamer, a package for that network.
That's what happened. Well, that's what happened with but that's what just happened. So what you sort of just explained is what just happened with the Pac-12, where everybody just abandoned ship in the Pac-12.
The Pac-12 are they gone now?
No, it is. That's what I'm trying to say, is that the Pac-12 is not gone, or it's the Pac-10 or whatever it is. They're not gone, because they were able to find other schools to get into their conference, and then they were able to sell just a smaller package. So I think they're on CBS now, Paramount, but then they also have to, find these other places to get games, to get those games onto TV. So you're already seeing it with some of these conferences that used to be major conferences going away. And it's
wait till the major conferences do this. It's going to be amazing. Is there a world where these conferences will have a media rights deal the size of Major League Baseball and the NBA? They won't catch the NFL, but a world where they surpass NBA and Major League Baseball? I don't think we can ever say never.